Hello, hello. This is Lisa Hardin, and you are joining the Stamping Zoo for a fun little tutorial today. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I work from Boise, Idaho, beautiful Boise, Idaho, and I'm just happy you're here with me today. I think we're going to have a fun time. I am going to show you a little bit of modification to a kit that's currently in the catalog. So let's take a look at where it is first in the catalog. This is the annual catalog, well loved already, as you can tell. And while we're looking at this, if you do not have a copy of the annual catalog, but you are interested in having one, and you don't have a demonstrator and you live in the United States, I would love to get you a catalog. It's complimentary. You just need to send me your mailing address. You can do that by sending it to my email, thestampingzoo@outlook.com, or you can contact me on Facebook. So anyway, we are looking at the kit that starts on page 200. This catalog is a beautiful idea book, as well as obviously information for the products that we sell. And so where we start is with this beautiful little kit. This is called For the Love of Felt. For the Love of Felt. It is $30 US, and it comes with everything you see here. And you can also purchase an add-on stamp set, if you will, and that is $20. It can be used with the kit as well as any other products you might have, any other projects. Today, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the kit, and I am going to modify slightly the images by using some stamp sets that I already have and really think will go well with this this kit. So let's take a look at the kit first. What do you get when you order the kit? You get this beautiful little gift box. I believe it came shrink wrapped. I can't remember exactly, but rest assured it comes to you very nicely. And if there's anything that comes to you that's not perfect, Stampin' Up! Stampin' Up! Takes good care of you and makes sure that you get the product that you ordered and that it's in great shape. So no worries there. Okay, so we get, first of all, great instructions. And let's see what else is in this little kit of loveliness, which, by the way, that's a beautiful box, isn't it? You can do so many things just with this. So I'll be keeping that for sure. I probably will fill it with cards and give it away as a gift. Just keep that. Just keep those cards moving along. Keep that love moving along. Okay, so we get a couple packages here of really beautiful little felt flowers. Look at those. Stitching, and they're in the beautiful Stampin' Up! Colors. That is one thing that makes Stampin' Up! So fantastic. There are a lot of things, but one of the fantastic things is the color coordination. So we have a family of, let's say, 40 base colors and 10 in colors that kind of rotate out every 2 years. But that color coordination is what makes Stampin' Up! So easy to just start working with, regardless of whether you are a beginner, a casual, or an avid stamper. You can just pick projects up and just start with them, because you don't have to guess about color theory or where to get the colors or where to get coordinating products. Stampin' Up! Has everything. Okay, so then we have some little, well, these are probably flowers too, little felt embellishments, and they just pop right out. And are those adorable? They are. They're officially adorable, with some little stitching in the middle. So I'm sure we're going to be adding those to our cards. This is just a really happy little color palette. Really, I think great for all occasion cards. And so then you get into the cardstock and other product. We've got some vellum here that has some, it's probably got a poem or something printed on it, but it has some things about nature. I see something about a summer sky, some honeybees. Okay, so I'm sure we'll be using that in there. Then we've got some other card fronts. Oh, we've got some various card fronts here. Some are printed, some are plain. Look at this. This one has a cool little kind of a stitched detail on it. And then we have some actual card bases. Now this set makes, how many cards does this set make? Let's take a look. I don't quite remember this. You make 12 cards for each of 3 designs. That's a nice little group of cards. I think if you had a stash of 12 cards, who would you be sending cards to? Wouldn't it be nice to have a little stash of birthday cards? Okay, these are great. Beautiful. I'm guessing we get 4 of those. 4 of these, also really nice and white inside. And then, let's see here. There's got to be one more design of card, but in the meantime, there are some cardstock die cuts that I'm sure we'll be adding. Okay, here are the great envelopes. Look at that. I love it. See, you don't even, everything's decorated, even the envelopes. So those are beautiful. Okay, here's our last design of card base. Just the random stitching. That's beautiful too. I love it. Kind of crafty. And here we go. Some more, these are leaf cardstock die cuts. That's just some cardboard to make sure the product stays nice. We've got some more leaves. I think they're the same pattern. Let's see. Nope, these are a little bit shorter, and then these are longer. Okay, and they almost feel kind of felt like even the paper does. And then these cute little things, which are just, they're also cardstock, these little happy flowers. And those are in our color Daffodil Delight. I just know that because I've been working with the product so long. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I kind of cheated and looked at the pamphlet ahead of time because I didn't want to act like I didn't know what was going on, right? But really, it's so easy to get started. So this is in a lot of different languages, but just assuming you speak English, or you probably wouldn't be following me, you just start here on the inside of the pamphlet. And one thing it does is it numbers. So it says, here are the steps that you are going to take in making any of these cards, 1 through 10. And then if you go over to the pictures, again, we're making 3 different designs. So if we are going to make this card, we just look at these numbers and this tells us what to do. For example, number 1 points to this flower right here. And number 1 says, stamp in Calypso Coral. So we know we're stamping a flower and we're stamping it in our Calypso Coral ink. Easy as that. Doesn't get any easier. Now here's what I'm going to change up. Instead of stamping this particular floral image, I'm going to use a different stamp set because you can do that with your Stampin' Up! Product. Really easy. No problems. Okay, so here's the color palette that is given to us in the kit really easily. Calypso Coral, Shaded Spruce, Pear Pizzazz, Sahara Sand, and Daffodil Delight. Beautiful. Sahara Sand is kind of serving as our neutral, if you will, and surrounded by all of these beautiful colors of nature. All right, and I am going to add in pieces and parts from these stamp sets. These are all current stamp sets that you can purchase. First Frost, Beautiful Friendship, Butterfly Gala, and Tasteful Textures. It just makes me happy just looking at them. I love these stamp sets. And so that's why I thought instead of buying the stamp set that kind of was recommended for the kit, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to use the stamp sets that I have already because I love them and I really want to get a lot of use out of them. And they're high quality products, so you don't have to worry about using your things over and over and over. Stamp sets last for years if you take good care of them and you know, clean them and store them. And don't just leave them out in the heat or something strange like that. They will last you for years. Okay, so let's see. Let's just start with this card. And again, we are going to modify the images, but I'm going to stick to the color combinations that are recommended. Okay, So what I need is, I need a piece of this vellum, this cute little vellum. I've got that. Okay. We need this for our card front. And then we need this for our card base. And I can just easily see this from the picture. I can see which pieces and parts they're pulling in. Okay, so we don't do anything to this right now. So we're just going to set that aside. And we're not going to do anything to this except for adhere it. So what we really need is this little card front. We're going to start decorating this card front and seeing what kind of little beautiful designs and images we can put on it. Okay, I think for this one, I will start by using First Frost. So First Frost is one of our sets that's actually, it's labeled as a distinctive set. Now, what does that mean? It's the word distinctive, but they've spelled it kind of funny, and then the word INK is in there. Distinctive is a certain process that Stampin' Up! Is using on certain stamps, and it gives you a more photorealistic picture, or photorealistic stamp, I should say. It's got a lot of really fine dimension to it. So anyway, we are going to use this. We're just going to use this stamp in place of this for our flower stamp on this card. Okay, so we know that we're supposed to stamp this a few times. I can see it on there. Thank goodness I get all these beautiful, we get these beautiful pictures with the cards. Because once you get started and you're familiar with the colors, you really don't even need to look back at the instructions. But we're going to do it. I'm not going to get too crazy, but I know that number one is stamp with Coastal Cabana, right? So I'm going to come in here and just kind of stamp this with Coastal Cabana. Or no, Calypso Coral. I'm sorry. Calypso Coral. Okay. So now I've got that done, and you will see me using this in between things, in between stamping. This is what we call our Simply Chamois. It's a great little chamois for cleaning off. You just put water on it, and so you're cleaning off the stamps in between inkings with this chamois. And of course, it doesn't come to you looking like this. It comes to you just a beautiful shade of purple, probably our color Highland Heather. However, it very quickly gets stained because that means it's doing its job. So anyway, and it doesn't come off on your hands or anything. It just gets absorbed all into the pad. So when you see that off and on, that's what I'm using. Now I can see here that we also are stamping this flower in Daffodil Delight. So let's get that out. It's a beautiful sunny yellow, right? And I'm just estimating where these things are going to be. There's no right or wrong to them, obviously, because it's just a grouping of nature, a grouping of florals. So we have a little bit of freedom in where we're putting these things. Now let's see. It looks like we also do some stamping around the edges in Pear Pizzazz, and that's number 5. It says Stamp in Pear Pizzazz. So I can tell that I want to stamp the corners with some sort of floral. Again, with the regular stamp set, it had these leaves in it. But since I'm using First Frost, I'm going to choose this little sprig. I know for a fact that I love it. I've used it plenty of times. And so I would just like to pop that one on a block and see how that will add to our image. Okay, and I am still going to use the same color combo. So Pear Pizzazz. Oh, Pear Pizzazz is a good, I don't know if I like it so much because it's called Pear Pizzazz and I do love pears, or if I just love the color. I think it's a little both, right? So now we're just going to kind of stamp that in the corners. I can tell I love it already. Yes, it doesn't matter if you get the whole image on there, obviously. And it also doesn't matter really if you were to stamp over the other images. So like over in this corner, I'm going to stamp a little bit over the stitching. And it's getting to look kind of like a card now, isn't it? Very fun. Now I think that's all of the stamping. Now we are just going to work on layering all these beautiful little pieces and parts that come in the set, right? Isn't that what it looks like? I think so. Oh my gosh, we have these beautiful pool party, or Coastal Cabana, this is probably Coastal Cabana, sequins in 2 different sizes. And I bet there's probably extra, so that when you're finished making these cards, you'll still have extra for other projects. Stampin' Up! Is very good about sending you more products than you need to finish a kit. So when you buy a kit, I don't want you to worry that the company has been stingy with the embellishments or the cards or anything like that. You're going to have what you need to finish the project, and most likely extra. In fact, just thinking about it, I don't think that I've ever gotten a kit and not had extra supplies. So rest assured, you can do this. Okay, let's see. It looks like we need 2. I'm just going to kind of gather my pieces and parts. So it looks like we need 3 of these little cardstock flowers. Looks like we need 2 of these little star felt punch out things. That's the official name. We need 1 of these little guys, the smaller flowers, and then we need 1 of the larger flowers. See, it's just going to be like this really beautiful bounty of nature, isn't it? It's kind of a little explosion. And while I'm pretty sure these will take extra postage because of the dimension of them, the depth of them, they're going to go through the mail just fine, because they just have a nice soft top. So just keep that in mind. These are going to be totally mailable in the US at least. And I don't think you're going to have any problems at all with them like that. Okay, now let's look at these leaves here. I can almost just tell what I need without looking at the numbers. And is that how you put kits together too? Because that's kind of how I put kits together, let's be honest. I kind of just look at the pieces and parts, and then I can tell usually what I'm supposed to be using. And maybe sometimes I try to use something and then I realize, oh, probably should have read the directions. But the good thing with card making is it's not really a right or wrong way to do this. This is your expression of art, craft, whatever you want to call it. This is how you are going to make a card for your specific friends, and your card's not going to be like anybody else's card. Okay, so we have 2 of these, easy enough. And then we want, it looks like a couple of the longer little sprigs of leaves. I can't speak. And these are in garden green. Isn't that a nice intense green? It really is garden green, right? And then I think one of these other sheets must be, I don't know if we take the flower petals apart or if they're single petals, and I just haven't seen that sheet yet. This is where I guess a little bit before I look at the instructions, and I think I'm going to look at the instructions on this. Why not, right? Oh, it just tells us where to adhere things. Okay, then we're doing good. There's no big secret here. Isn't that fun? I just love to look at the images. Okay, so now we're going to start kind of building this. And I will use mostly this liquid, this mono liquid glue. We sell this as well, Stampin' Up. It's excellent glue. And the thing I really like about it is it dries clear. That's one thing I like about it. But also, when you put it down, it still has a few seconds of wiggle room, and then it just adheres basically like concrete. Like your project is not going to start coming apart. Oh, that is not a good thing to spend that would not be a good thing to spend all the time on this beautiful card and then have it like come apart in the mail because your glue isn't good enough. So right up here, I'm going to start working at the top. I can tell that this comes in and kind of overlaps. All right, good enough. And then I need a couple of leaves. I think I can just kind of glue them like that. I might trim this off, but I want to try and keep it as a whole piece, so then I can just glue it really easily. So a couple little dots of glue. Work with me now, come on. There we go. Glue never wants to come out when you want it. And then when you're trying to control it, of course, watch out. Okay, so we're gonna put this there. And then the final little touch is this cute little blue textured piece. Oh, you get over there. All right. And like I said, I just hold that down for a few seconds. I mean, it needs longer than that to fully dry, but right now that's just in place. That's where it's gonna stay. And you don't have to worry about it moving around on you. Oh, already. It's so adorable. I love it. Okay, now it looks like these leaves are the first layer on the card. Easy enough. A few little dots of glue here. And I'm just gonna start layering it in. Right, again, we're making like this really lush garden scene. So I think what I'm gonna use with these actually, because there's so much space on them, is I am going to, with our beautiful Take Your Pick tool, I'll tell you more about all the fun things that this tool does in just a minute, but I'm gonna grab a glue dot and just put it right down at the base of this leaf, okay? And then stick it to the card. And it will, well, that's not really how I wanna stick it to the card, like that. Come on now. Okay. Then it still has some movement, but it's obviously not going anywhere. Now let's see. Our other one looks like it's right underneath this flower. So we're gonna go ahead with that. Put that on there. Looks like it might be right there. That's where it's gonna be on my card. And so like I said, we're just building. We just keep building, right? We need another one of these. Oh, this is such a fun thing. It's a Sunday afternoon here right now. It's about 100 degrees, which is what I like to call perfect stamping weather. I am not a lover of the heat. I am a fragile flower. So I'm hiding inside right now, and that's where I'm going to stay. And it's supposed to be this way for about a week, and then hopefully it will slack off a little bit. Okay, this looks like it's coming in there, right in there somewhere. And so we've got all these loose ends, but we're gonna cover those up with our beautiful little felt flowers. Now we've got two of these yellow flowers. This is kind of how I'm working in. Just piece by piece, everything just kind of gets layered in until finally all of a sudden the card's finished. You're like, wow, that worked. Now look, I've got this other little putty end on this Take Your Pick tool, and all you do is kind of mash down some of the putty, and then when you need more putty, you just roll this forward. Now you don't want to turn that hard all the way, or this is like Play-Doh, and it'll like come out of the end all at once. All you want is just a little bit on the tip, and so that you can pick up your embellishments really easily. We love the Take Your Pick tool. Oh, hey now, I probably should have had a little more putty on there, don't you think? Anyway, I got the job done. I picked it up, which was what I really needed. Okay. Oh, this is getting to be so cute. Oh, it looks like we need one more little short leaf grouping. And again, I'm going to cut this one so that I don't have to worry about seeing the ends on this particular one. And this comes right off of this rose on the left and gets a blue little star image. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Am I gonna be able to send these out to people, or am I going to just keep them for myself to look at? No, I will be strong. I will send them out. However, it's gonna be a little difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I can tell already, I want that one a little bit lower. Oops. So with the felt and the glue, I have a little bit more time. And actually, if you wanted to not have time to move those things, you can just glue them down with glue dots. Now this little yellow flower, now that I've gotten in here, I've realized that I want to put this down, and then I want to bring the yellow flower and just kind of tuck it in. So I still had time to kind of move it around. And I like it. It's looking beautiful. Now we need some final touches. One of those being a cute little bow out of this linen thread, which came with the kit. The hardest part about it, of course, is finding the start. Is this the start? Yeah, we can do it. You can do this thing, Lisa. You've got it. Oh, this is a nice weight. It's like right between being flexible and having some body to it. I love it. Okay, now when I tie a bow with linen thread, I don't tie that knot in the middle super tight at the very beginning, because I always want to bring the loops in. And if this knot is super tight and you start bringing the knots in, the thread gets all twisted. It doesn't make pretty loops. It just makes these long kind of twisty loops. And I don't like that. So here's how it's turning out. Now for right now, I'm not gonna worry about how long the tails are. I am not gonna cut the tails for the final time until I finish the card. Because sometimes I like the tails to be really long and crazy, and sometimes I like them to be short and under control. Now I'm gonna take one of our mini glue dots and just kind of roll it up on itself, put it on the bow, and then put that on the flower, because this is felt. So when I'm trying to put this on top of it, I don't think the glue is going to work. There's not enough surface area with this tiny bow. Oh, don't you love it? Look at that. That's so cute. Okay, now I definitely will cut the tails of that, but like I said, we will do that in a minute. Okay, now we need a few little sequins. And I don't really, oh, I guess we can tell, like, these are the small ones. They used 2 of the small ones, and then they used 3 of the large ones. That's easy enough. So I'm just gonna pour a little pile off to the side here. I'm sure we'll be using them on the next card we make. And come on, little guy. These sequins are not matte, but they're not super shiny either, and I really like them. Like, they almost have a vellum look to them. So again, I'm going to use the Take Your Pick tool, and what I do is I mash that onto what would be the front of the sequin, like where the sequin kind of cups in. Then I do that. I put the glue on the back of the sequin, and then I just can place it right where I want it, and except for when it gets mashed onto my finger. There we go. Okay, I love it already. I like working with little sequins. I don't know, maybe they're a little fussy for some people, but everyone likes a little bling. They might say they don't, but they do. Trust me, they want some bling on their card. So, even with masculine cards, lots of times I use bling. Now, I might not use the same bling but I try to really use lots of different textures, and that definitely means that I'm going to use some sort of ribbon, thread, or otherwise. We have this really great denim ribbon that I think lends itself really well to masculine cards. We're not going to use it today, but just keep that in mind. And keep this in mind, of course. If you want to order this or any other Stampin' Up! Products and you live in the United States, you can order these things from me. Isn't that convenient? And like I said, you can just go to my Facebook page, The Stamping Zoo. You can go to my blog. I'm also on Pinterest, and I'm all over the place. When you're talking about the internet. Otherwise, I'm kind of a homebody, but you'd never know that, right? As long as we meet here on a regular basis, that's all I care about. So, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this. I'm in love with it, and I haven't even stuck it on a card yet. Look at this, it's so cute. Okay, so I apologize. This is just something you are going to have to get used to if you watch my tutorials, is that sometimes I kind of get a little excited about what we're using. This is why I have used these products for over 25 years, because I love them. I never get tired of them. They're so beautiful and make me happy. Okay, what I'm going to do here is, this is vellum. I'm just going to take some of the glue dots and put them towards the middle. Or really what I'm trying to do is just make sure that they are going to be underneath where I adhere that little piece of artwork that we've just made, because the glue dots will show through the vellum. And there are different ways to adhere vellum. You can actually water down this glue and put it on with a sponge, and then it's pretty hard to see. But we don't need to go to that trouble today, because there's a huge area of this vellum that is underneath something where it won't be shown. So we're just going to do that. I am all about doing the easiest thing, right? If we're going to get the same result, we're going to do the easiest thing. Okay, and now I'm just going to put some glue on the back of this beautiful little masterpiece, our little tiny masterpiece. And again, that's about how much you need. You don't need a lot, probably even need less than that. But I do want to make sure that it stays on the card. And now I'm just going to use, because these are words, I'm just going to use them to kind of make sure that my image goes on straight. Wow. And then final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, and again, I am going to leave this side a little bit longer because I really like the way it was just kind of curling there. Look at this card. Okay, let's show it off with its envelope too. So here's the envelope. I just want you to pretend you're sending this to someone. You get to write their address on it and everything, make it look nice. Look at this beautiful flap. And then on the inside, here's the card. Is that great or what? So as you can see, I just did a slight adjustment with that, and that is beautiful. Now the only thing we have to decide now is what sentiment do we want to put on it. I think I've got a sentiment in mind. We can use we could definitely use the wishing you all the best sentiment. I kind of was leaning towards take time to do what makes your soul happy. I think that's a good message. And I don't know if people do that all the time. So let's see if this will fit in here. It will fit, I believe. Yeah, it'll fit. Looks good. Now this is, this Tasteful Textures is a beautiful new set that just came out in the annual catalog. It has a set of 3 dies with it as well, and they are fabulous. That's all I can say. They are fabulous on their own, and they are fabulous with the stamp set. Okay, so I can tell that this is garden green, but in case I didn't know, I would just go to number, oh gosh, okay, I just got showed up. I would go to number 2 and it says stamp in shaded spruce. Okay, well, look at that. Lesson learned. I've been calling it garden green and it's actually shaded spruce. So, you know what? I guess it is good that you look at the instructions every once in a while. Now, I just have some grid paper here. You can also purchase this from Stampin' Up, but I have some grid paper that I'm always testing out. I always want to test out different stampings. So anyway, now I'm just going to come right here, and I apologize if my head is in the camera, but I need to just look right through this clear stamp, and now I've got my card all finished. Take time to do what makes your soul happy. Oh, this is great. I think I will. And I am taking time to do what makes my soul happy. I am making cards and I'm talking to you. That is it for me. That's all I need. Okay, we're going to set this little bodacious garden off to the side of my llama. And let's make another one, shall we? This is so fun. I am going to actually save some of these for my stamp camp, which will be in a few weeks. But I need to make a few for examples for them, don't I? Okay, here's a really pretty one. That's really nice. And this one uses that card base that is full stitching, or it has stitching all over it, I should say. So let me grab that one. This. And then we need, the card front has a little bit stamped on it or printed on it, and then a little bit of space for stamping. Okay, let's see, where have I put the card fronts? That is something that happens with every stamper, is that even though I'm working in a tiny space, I will misplace things. Yes, I will. Here it is. I put it back in the box. Goofy. Okay, we need that one. This is pretty. Okay, now, just to switch it up, we're going to use this beautiful friendship. Isn't this nice? Oh, this is also a distinctive stamp, which means it looks like 2 or 3 step stamping just with one stamp. So let's give this one a try. And so I need some of these blocks, so I'm going to remove the images we've already used. I'm so happy to be able to use these sentiments in tasteful textures. I think they are fantastic. Let's see here. I will show them to you in just a minute as soon as I put this one away. Oh, here's one that says, "You're one of those people who make my life better by just being in it." Who doesn't want a card that says that? That is fantastic. Just believe you deserve it. Thanks for making it easy to believe in myself. Wow. You never know the feeling people are going to get when they receive a card from you, but you can almost guarantee, I say almost because nothing's absolute, you can almost guarantee they will feel better than they did before they opened your card. So just keep that in mind. Make a card and send a card. That's our motto, right? We want to send all these beautiful cards out that we make. Okay, so we're going to start with this card design. I'm going to set the card base off to the side so I don't stamp on it. And let's start doing our modifications. So right here, this again would have been a stamp from the stamp set. We are going to use, we can either do 2 things. We can use this, we can use these stamps, or these leaf stamps, or we could use this flower. I think we're going to use the leaves. I'm just going to make an executive decision there, and we're going to use them both at the same time. We're going to double duty this thing so that we're efficient. So these are photopolymer stamps, so they're clear, you can see through them. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place them where I would like them to stamp at the same time. So I have the 2 stamps on here, but I'm going to treat it as a single stamp, if you will. Now I will take the shaded spruce, which I've been calling garden green, but it's shaded spruce. And just go ahead and ink these up. And again, I want to test it. That's pretty dark. Okay. Let's see, am I changing my mind? Do I want, you know what I think I want? I think I want a mix of first and generation stamping. Now what that means is, this is first generation stamping, okay, and then I'm going to come over it, and that's second generation stamping. Isn't that fun? It gives you like a second color without having 2 ink pads. So first and second. That's neat. I like it. And that's not too much different from the pattern that they have on there. I really like it, actually. Okay, what other stamping do we do? Oh, we do a flower. We do a flower right at the top here in Daffodil Delight. So I shall adhere to the colors, but I am going to switch up the flower, and I'm going to use this flower that's in our Beautiful Friendship. The size of it really is going to work just perfectly. This little guy right here. Isn't that great? So it's going to go right up here on the top, and it's in Daffodil Delight. Looks like a good one. And there we go. Oh, it's so cute. So cute. I love gardening. Do you like gardening? I flower garden. I should preface that. I was made to garden in a vegetable garden as a child, and I leave that to other people now. I leave that to other people who grow organically and grow all different types of things for me. So while I enjoy eating from a vegetable garden, I'm not doing vegetable gardening anymore. That's hard work. I do, however, love flower gardening. So I stick to that. That's my jam. This has a little bit of, let's see. Oh, this is a stamp right back here, a little stitched stamp. I think we can do without that. But if you wanted to put anything else in it, you could just use any kind of a textural stamp that you have, that you enjoy. I think for right now, we're good. If we change our mind, you know, we have plenty of things to choose from. Now look what they've done here. They've put some sequins on the ends of this little bit. So we're going to start by doing that. I think we're done with our stamping. Don't quote me on that. We may come right back to it. Oh, well, we have to stamp a sentiment, of course. But other than that, I think we're good. Okay. So I'm going to put those away for right now. If I don't put them away, I'm afraid I'm going to use them all before my little class gets here. Oh, man. They'd be like, you know, I thought this kit came with sequins, and I would have to tell them, no, sorry, the sequins got used. Okay. This one kind of wants to stick to itself. That's all right. I can fix it. So I'm just going to put this larger one on the one that's furthest out. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So when that putty gets a little like non-sticky on the end, here's what you do. You just kind of roll it up and then mash it again. And we have refills. Isn't that handy? Then I'm taking this little, I call it the pokey end. I believe it's called a paper piercer. Now look what this does. This is really cool. So this just comes out, and then if you need a little spatula for other embellishments, then you've got that right at the flip of a switch. And then the third thing that comes with it is a stylus, and there's like a fine stylus and then a little bit bigger stylus. So you just take that one out. This one fits right inside there, and then you can just use your stylus if you need to. Isn't that fun? So I find myself using what I call the pokey end a lot. It just works for me. But when I need the other tools, I have them. That's what I like. Now the last thing that we just, the company just introduced something else for your take your pick tool, which is brilliant. I just haven't bought it yet. It's a die brush. So if you want, it's a roller die brush. So when you are working with your dies and you cut out little fine pieces and you need a roller brush to kind of get those out, there's a little roller brush end. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, I actually have, where are they? I have 2 of these guys because that's how handy they are. I'm thinking that what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to have the roller brush end on this one all the time. And then I'm just going to keep this one regular. Not that you can't interchange them. It doesn't take that long. But I'll just be lazy. And since I have 2, then we'll have it set up like that for class. So I have class here usually once a month. And I do online classes like this once a week. Every Thursday night, I do a Facebook Live, and that's what I consider a live class. We have a ton of fun, and as you can tell, I am just now adding to my social media repertoire by holding classes on YouTube. This is actually the first class. So I welcome you. Needed a little drink there. Iced tea is the name of the game today. Little ginger green tea. It's delicious. Let me just recommend it. It's delicious. Okay, so we need 1 of these this time. And then we need 1 of each of these main flowers, if you will. 1 of those, 1 of this. I love that one. It's so cute. And then, let's see, we need a yellow cutout Daffodil Delight. This is so sweet. These are really cute. Let's see, you hear my little doggy Tango in the background. I have 2 dogs, Tango and Cash. And if you recall that movie, they were 2, it wasn't like, I didn't name them because that's like a favorite movie of mine, but they are brothers. They're Littermate brothers, and so I wanted names that were like went together as a duo, but still sounded different. So I wasn't calling them the same name all the time. So anyway, that's how they ended up with those names. But really, it's kind of fitting because in the movie Tango and Cash, I think those guys were they were detectives or something, but they were always like ruining stuff or blowing things up, and that's kind of fitting for Tango and Cash the doggies. Not that they are ruining stuff by any means, but because of their curiosity, that's what I think of. They're always so curious and they're into stuff, and they are 7.5, and I wish they would stop aging, but you'd never really know it by the way they act because they're just fun that way. So anyway, you will hear them from time to time if you watch my videos because they are always on guard. Tango especially is always on guard, and when I come back into the craft room, I think he feels like he has to go on extra guard duty just in case someone is trying to come in here to kill us, which is not the case because we live in a very safe neighborhood. And anyway, I let him do his work, right? He needs to know that he is needed. Okay, so this little guy looks like he's gonna get glued right there. And then this blue one goes right over it, right? Isn't this one fun? Such a fun color. And before you know it, you're done. You just need to add your sentiment. Okay, let's take a look at the sentiments that we have in there. I love this mix. I love it when a font mixes, or I love it when a sentiment has mixed fonts, you know, so like this, good things are sure to happen, which I really love that sentiment too. Let's see if it will fit. It will fit, but I think it might be a little much. So let's take a look at what was in. I don't mean the sentiment is a little much. I mean the size of it might be a little much. How about if we look at this one? It says, so very happy to know you. Oh, I think that fits a lot better. In fact, it's perfect how the H kind of goes up right in the center, and then we can center that right where there's no stamp. And this one is stamped in Calypso Coral. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a try. Now, let's see here. So very happy to know you. Oh, I felt like I needed to try it out on the grid paper. I'm so glad the grid paper is there. I don't know why, but I was like, I better just try this on grid paper. Oh, I love it. So very happy to know you. Isn't that cute? And isn't that a nice thing to say to somebody? Yes, it is. And lucky for me, I have so many people in my life I can send that to. I am really lucky. I have good people around me. So I hope you have good people around you also. Let's see here. Okay, so now, final thing we need to do, of course, is pop it up onto the front of our card, and then this one's gonna get a linen twine bow also. See, I thought I was done with the glue. Wasn't quite done with the glue. Not to worry. Okay. So again, I'm just going to kind of use the grid paper to help me put this on centered. I need to look at it here. Okay. All right. And then the final thing, like I said, is a little bow, again, out of the linen twine. This is just like a natural color. I would call this, well, it's probably crumb cake, which is one of our colors in our neutrals. Okay, so again, remember, just keep that bow nice and loose when you're tying twine, anything really small like this, until you get it down to about where you want it. And then go ahead and pull it tight and just adjust the bows one last time. Okay. And I'm going to do my little trick again with a mini glue dot rolled up onto itself, stuck into the center of the bow, and then it looks like the bow just kind of goes here-ish, right? Here-ish. It's a word. It's a word. Oh my gosh. I don't know which one I like better. Which one do you like better? These are so pretty. So again, remember this kit gives you 4 of each of these designs plus a third design. And let me just get the design out here and show you. The third design. Oh, it's that. Isn't that nice? So it's like a landscape card. So these 2 are portrait cards, and then you get a landscape card. So you get a great little selection, both in color, in sentiment. And these project kits are really fun to work on by yourself if you just need some me time. They are excellent to work with in a class, and they're also really fun to take to like a family gathering or a girls get together, or you know, just a little retreat weekend. I find that anybody can stamp a card. It doesn't matter if you've stamped before. These instructions are very easy, they're very clear, and also this comes in just like a nice small little compact package, right? So it's not difficult to put into a suitcase or something like this. And then you just take this to wherever you're going, And look at all the fun you can have. And then everybody takes a few cards away, and you probably end up sending them to each other, which is really fun. Okay, so I'm going to put them down here because they're so pretty. You know what? Thank you so much for joining me for this, my first YouTube video, first of many, right? And I will be downloading my lives to this channel as well, but you feel free to come on over to the Stamping Zoo on Facebook. You can find me there and like my page, and then you will get all sorts of updates on all things Stampin' Up, and we might even have some laughs in between there. And again, if you're looking for instruction, written instruction about some of my projects, you can go to my blog. You can look on Pinterest, and then of course you can come right back here to my YouTube channel, and you can find all of those just by typing in the Stamping Zoo. Okay, this is Lisa Hardin again. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.